Everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today we'll learn about what is defect life cycle. So this is very important topic of software testing. So let's get started. So what is defect? So a defect is a error or a bug is an application that is created during the building or designing of software, and due to which software start to show abnormal behavior during its use. So it is one of the important responsibility of the tester to find as much as defect possible to ensure the quality of the product is not affected and the end product is fulfilling all the requirement perfectly for which it has been designed, and provide required service to the end user. Because as much as defect will be identified and resolved, then the software will behave perfectly as per expectation. So this is the definition of defect. This is basically bug or defect. So there is always be confusion between bug and defect. Let's get clarify the doubt between bug and defect. So what is bug? In simple language we can say a bug is an error or flaw in the software that causes it the malfunctioning or behave unexpectedly. Bugs are typically found by the testing team during the development process. And what is defect? Defect is a broader term that refers to any deviation from the expected behavior or functionality of a software product. Defect can be caused during development or introduced later, and are often found by customers after the product is released. So basically bugs are coding errors or mistake made by developers during the implementation phase, but defect can arise from various sources including poor design, incorrect assumption, or changes in the environment, not just coding error. And bugs are usually detected by the testing team during the development and testing phases, but defect can be found by both the development testing team as well by customer after the product is released. So let's get to our main topic, that is defect life cycle. So as you can see the flow chart, there is a several step that comes into defect life cycle. So this is which is goes through covering a specific set of state in its entire life. Mainly bug life cycle or defect life cycle refer to its entire state starting from a new defect detected to the closing of that defect by the tester. Alternatively, it is also called as bug life cycle. The journey of defect life cycle varies from organization to organization and also from project to project, because development procedure and platform as well as testing methods and testing tool differ depending upon the organization or on the project. The number of states that a defect goes through also varies depending upon the different tools and processes followed during the testing of software. The objective of the defect lifecycle is to easily coordinate and communicate the current status of the defect and thus help to make the defect fixing process efficient. So what are the status of the defect? So we'll start from the status new. So basically defect status or bug status is the current state from which the defect is currently going through. The number of states the defect goes through varies from project to project. This is the diagram where we can see. So first status we can see here new. So what is new? When any new defect is identified by the tester, it falls in the new state. It is the first state of the bug life cycle or defect life cycle. The tester provides a proper defect document to the development team so that the development team can refer to defect document and can fix the bug accordingly. Second status is assigned. Defects that are in the status of new will be approved, and that newly identified defect is assigned to the development team for the working on the defect and to resolve that. when the defect is assigned to the developer, status of the bug changes to assigned state. So it is assigned to some developer, so there will be name of that developer that is assigned, the bug is assigned to the developer, so that's why it is assigned state. Third is open. In this open state, the defect is being addressed by the developer team, and the developer team work on the defect for fixing the bug based on some specific reason. If developer team feels that defect is not appropriate, then it is transferred to rejected, defect, rejected, duplicate, deferred, not a bug. These are the several steps that we will see later. Then next status is fixed. After necessary changes of codes or after fixing identified bug, developer team mark the status as a fix. The next status is pending retest. During the fixing of defect is completed, the developer team passes the new code to the testing team for the retesting, and the code application is pending for the retesting on the tester side. So the status is pending retest. Then next status is retest. At this stage, the tester starts work of retesting the defect to check whether the defect is fixed or not by the developer, and the status is marked as retesting. Then next is after retesting, if it got failed, then it can be reopened. So this will go to the new status called reopen. After retesting, if tester thinks that it's not fixed or this is not working as expected, then they can reopen. Once again, bug goes to the open state and goes through the life cycle again. This means it goes for refixing by the development team. The next state is verified. The tester retest the bug after it got fixed by the developer team, and if the tester does not find any kind of defect bug, then the bug is fixed. The status assigned to verified. The next status is closed. Closed means everything is done. It is the final step of the defect cycle. After fixing the defect by the developer team, when the testing team found that the bug has been resolved completely, working as expected, then it does not persist, then they mark the defect as a closed state. So these are the basic defect life cycle. Now we can see that other status like duplicate, rejected, deferred, not a bug, then when it can be happen, we'll see this here. So as already we have seen this new open, in progress, fix, ready for retest, reopen, close. This already we have, these stages we have seen in the flow chart. This is the few more status that we have seen, that rejected, deferred, duplicate, not a defect, not reproducible, cannot be fixed, need more. So we will see one by one. First is rejected. If the developer team reject a defect, if they feel that defect is not considered a genuine defect, and then they mark the status as rejected. The cause of rejection may be any these three, that is duplicate defect, not a defect, non-reproducible. So that's why they can mark the status as rejected. Second is deferred. All defects have a bad impact on developed software, and also they have a label based on their impact on software. If the developer team feels that defect that is identified is not a prime priority, or it can get fixed in further updates or release, then the developer team can mark the status as deferred. This means from the current defect lifecycle it will be terminated. Next status is duplicate. Sometimes it may happen that defect is repeated twice, or defect is same as any other defect, then it is marked as duplicate, then the defect is rejected. Next step is not a defect. If the defect has no impact on effect on other functions of the software, then it is marked as not a defect state and it is rejected. The next step is non-reproducible. If the defect is non-reproduced due to platform mismatch, data mismatch, build mismatch, or any other reason, then the developer marks the defect as non-reproducible state. Next is can't be fixed. If the developer team fail to fix the defect due to technology support, cost of fixing a bug, lack of required skill, or due to any other reason, then the developer team can mark the status as can't be fixed state. Next is need more information. This state is very close to the non-reproducible state, but it is different. When the developer team fails to reproduce the defect due to the step document provided by the tester being insufficient or defect document is not so clear to reproduce the defect, then the developer team can change the status to need more information. When the tester team provide a good defect document to the developer team, then it is proceed for fixing the bug. Then we will be seeing next is this flow chart. There we can understand how it goes in every state, every status. So here I have mentioned some point like 1 2 3. Accordingly we will go and understand everything. The first point we can see tester find a defect, then it goes to the defect status is changed to new. The development manager will then analyze the defect. The manager determines if the defect is valid or not. If the defect is not valid, then the development manager assigns the status rejected or defect. If the defect is valid, then it is checked whether the defect is in scope or not. If no, then the defect status is changed to the deferred. If the defect is in scope, then the manager checked whether the similar defect was raised earlier. If yes, then defect is assigned to duplicate. If the defect is not already raised, then manager start fixing the code and defect is assigned to status in progress. Once the defect is fixed, the status is changed to fixed. The tester retests the code. If the test is passed, then the defect status is changed to closed. If the test fails, again then the defect is assigned, status is reopened and assigned to the developer. Then again defect life cycle we go. So this is the overall about defect life cycle. So thanks for watching.